All right, 936, Big 550, KTRS. The board meeting is in session. John Deal, David Stokes, Jane Duker. I got a couple of emails the last couple of days, people clamoring why this is not as big of a story as it is. The story goes something like this. An ex-IRS official, Lois Lerner, had emails. What did they say? We don't know. We wanted to find out. They were lost. They were destroyed. Now we know that IRS official Lois Lerner's hard drive has crashed and it has been recycled conveniently, making it likely that the lost emails are now gone forever. What did the emails say? We don't know, but she, of course, is that lightning rod when it came to Tea Party targeting IRS, targeting Tea Party groups in their non-profit status, as well as liberal groups and conservative groups. People want to know what she said, what these emails were. These are now gone and lost forever. It's a great point to the panel, and I'll start with you, David Stokes. IRS goes after these people. They want receipts from receipts, and credit card receipts aren't good enough. You have to have the actual receipt that's printed on heated paper that lasts for 4 minutes in your wallet. And so that's not good enough. And if you don't have this, and they will charge you up the wazoo, and the clock is always running, and the interest and the compounded interest. And now the one time we want information from them, oh my goodness, my hard drive crashed. Sorry about that.
Just say you sent it to their email account.
Yeah, right. The dog ate the homework.
When I emailed my receipts to Lois.
I'm sorry, I emailed them all to her. They were there.
I think lawyers might use
Sounds
that
like a
in
new law
tax court.
practice deal.
And I'm sorry, my hard drive crashed too. I can't prove it to you.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
Wow.
this is beyond outrageous. This goes back a few years ago. Was it the Bush administration or the last ends of the Clinton administration where they were going at the Taxpayer Bill of Rights and how this? I mean, I have been a target of a IRS investigation and an IRS audit, and I would rather go through an anal probe than be audited by the IRS.
That was out loud. Thanks for sharing.
Wow.
Okay.
I
all
never thought
right.
about that, but
The fact that you could compare the two
you're right.
is
I mean,
interesting.
this is outrageous, and this is more than just an employee of the IRS. That this was a very high,
level official.
very high level official who's under investigation in Congress for the role of, and the proper role of Congress and in their oversight function, investigating whether or not the IRS was used as a political arm by the Obama administration to target political enemies. And it's, I know there's liberal
friends
groups.
too, though. I mean, they didn't limit it. That's the beauty of it.
Or quote unquote friends.
Right.
Right. And sometimes your worst enemies are your friends, right? Yeah.
Spoken like a true politician.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always your friends that get you. It's
Never your enemies.
So, these were, and all of a sudden to say, okay, these were lost. And all of a sudden, she had to send emails to somebody in the Bureau. Well, gosh, those emails can't be located either. And then all of a sudden the hard drive ends up shredded. I get the point you made is spot on. The government needs to live by the same rules that it makes the people it governs live by. And if we're required to keep all of our records for 5 to 7 years in a form which the government can see, the government should be required to keep all of their records for at least the same period of time,
right?
Which is available to the public. So I mean, their heads have to roll on something like this, and I think that lady should face criminal sanctions.
Well, and I think the email thing, I mean, guys, let's face it, the federal FOIA, the state sunshine law is not very strong, and this is a problem. I mean, there has to be better access to governmental records, and, government fights it. They all say they're going to be transparent, but they never are, and, there needs to be some teeth that actually, have offensives. And actually normal people who want documents should be able to enforce their ability to get them without, selling their house. And I think that would force government, unwillingly to properly do this.
But Jane, this is not something where the law isn't there to enforce it. This is something where people went out and when Ms. Lerner's under investigation to her emails to get lost and then the hard drive shredded.
At best, it's complete incompetence.
By accident.
Right.
That doesn't
think about
happen
this. Monica Lewinsky's emails were found. Right? I mean, you could go back
They
and
exist.
reconstruct Monica Lewinsky's emails. You can't go back and reconstruct this woman's emails.
Yeah.
There's a concentrated effort to make
You're the
sure these
tax man.
emails were never found.
And it's only, from what I read, it's only on her hard drive, on her computer. Well, there's a server.
Why isn't there a network?
There's
Right.
a server that this stuff goes
Well,
through.
and when you're the
It's
tax
there.
man,
Yeah.
you better, you know what? This is a little bit of, be careful the house you sit in. When you're the tax man,
Right.
you better keep your record straight.
That's
So yeah, no, it hurts. It hurts people's faith in government, and it's very sad.
David Stokes.
Well, it just seems, and I'll use the word seems to me, that somebody decided that the penalties for the cost for getting rid of the evidence, the potential evidence, was far less than what might have been the cost for what they were going to find if they read those emails. So, I mean, I don't think it's an accident that you specifically wipe clean one person's certain hard drive. And I'll retract that if I find out that that's a, you break it down, then they wipe it clean. They do it to
Don't ever
everybody.
underestimate.
Or if I get audited in the next 6 months.
Right.
Well,
I didn't really
audited.
mean that. I retracted that
Don't
statement.
ever underestimate incompetence. Seriously.
Well, that's true too.
Because I think the idea that they could formulate such a plan, you have to have a certain level of competence to actually execute that sort of, enterprise.
But
Which is why I'm not a conspiracy theorist, generally speaking.
Right, exactly.
I will say this: when I was being audited, they wanted to know on my taxes, I put that a trip to New York was a business expense. I went to go to like a talkers convention. I think I went to go meet with an agent or two, and so I put that as a business expense. My airline ticket. They wanted the receipt. I went to my credit card company and got the receipt that says Southwest Airlines, whatever, the $200, $300 for the airline ticket. The IRS rejected that. They wanted the actual ticket. They wanted the actual ticket. My credit card receipt from my statement was not good enough. They needed the actual ticket that I went on the plane
Wow.
from, 5 years ago. Well, it's impossible. So
And they fade anyway.
well, yeah, right. It's ridiculous. So I was.
Southwest Airlines collects your boarding pass.
Well, I think, but whatever they
some
wanted,
receipt that you
whatever they
print out.
wanted, I was like, who keeps that? 3 days after the trip. But so they're like, well, sorry. So what are you supposed to do? You're handcuffed, and you're like, all right. Well, I guess now I'm dinged for that, and now I have to pay the interest and the debit and the problem and the this and the that, and you can't win. I mean,
Well,
you are
just as
literally
the-
held hostage.
Just as the presumption goes against the taxpayer, like you don't get your stuff if you don't prove
Presumption
it.
needs to go
then
here,
then
right?
the presumption needs to go that it's your duty to keep the record straight, and the presumption goes against the IRS because they don't have their records.
Board meeting 9:44, Big 550.